Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jenna Flanagan. Subway graffiti making a comeback. According to a new report by the new independent local publication, The City, the MTA has spent more cash on graffiti cleanups last year than the last two. The question, how do we avoid going back to the bad old days of art bombed out cars and crackdowns on vandals? Here with more on this is Jose Martinez, senior reporter at The City. Jose, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you. So first, let's start off with how much more the city has been spending on cleaning up these trains.
Well, the MTA in 2018 spent more than $600,000. That is a 364% increase from just 2 years earlier. Now, the figures have trended down in 2019. That's an effort on cutting back on some of this. But that's an alarming jump, and a lot of it is driven really by the taggers wanting to get their work seen on social media.
And of course, that leads me to my next question is, first of all, why is it necessary to keep the graffiti off the trains? Because a lot of people will say, this is an art form, these are artists, this is part of the fabric and the essence of New York.
Well, it's somewhat of a return to the bad old days, if you will, and it's associated by the MTA and by the Transit Bureau of the NYPD as being linked with those days when service was so poor, when crime was high in the subway, when ridership was way down because people didn't want to go in a system that wasn't as inviting as one that is somewhat cleaner. So for that reason, and then there are costs associated with wiping those trains clean. So it's something that the MTA just doesn't want to encourage, but that the taggers, those that the NYPD would call vandals, want to get out. And it's different from back in the 70s and the 80s where a train would roll across an elevated line and it would be seen by people, and then it went out the underground movement across the world. To now it's just on social media. That's the way to get their work out there, but it's quite unpopular with the MTA.
So this is actually the fault of social media that we're seeing this graffiti come back.
Like so many things, it's just the fault of social media.
We're blaming the right entity.
There are a lot of feeds on Instagram where you will see the work of taggers. And I spoke with some veteran graffiti folks, and they say this is obviously not the work of people from New York. It's not the look that is native to the city. It's very different. And they say they want nothing to do with it now, but that it's drawing people from Spain, it's drawing people from Australia. And so what the NYPD and what MTA security do is try and keep an eye on the yards and on the layup areas where these trains get hit. But it's very difficult. It's a huge system. It's hard to patrol every inch, and a lot of times trains are stored underground and they're ripe for the picking for these folks.
Of course. Now, I do, just to stay on the artistic part of it just for a moment longer, and say that the city has embraced graffiti as an art form in some respects. Is that correct?
Well, you need to look no further than the one train passageway at 190th Street uptown. Right there, that was a very dark, decrepit passageway there from the one train, and it was quite frankly pretty frightening to walk through there. So a couple of years ago, the Department of Transportation commissioned a bunch of artists to do graffiti in that passageway. Now, it's been a couple of years, so some of it's been done over and messed with, but it certainly did make it more inviting. And a lot of the old-time graffiti folks, they've become legitimate artists. Look at Tats Crew out of Hunts Point in the Bronx. They've made big money going commercial. There are others that I cited in that article who have gone on to become artists in their own right, taking it from the subway, out of the subway, and into a money-making venture.
So now to go back to the money aspect of it, because it seems like every time we hear about the MTA spending money, if it's not to improve service, people get upset. So again, why is it so necessary to clean these trains? I mean, it's not like people have very few options when it comes to getting around the city. They're going to ride the subways.
Sure, and what you don't want to encounter is a delay because a train's taken out of service and it affects the riding public. So many people would say just keep it going, let the trains go through that are tagged, but that's not something the MTA wants, that's not something the NYPD wants, and you have to consider the hundreds of millions of dollars that the city spent back in the 1970s and 80s to finally purge the system of graffiti by 1989. That's an anniversary that's celebrated at the MTA. And the figures that went up 2016 to 2018, again, 364% increase in the number of graffiti incidents, that's something they do not want to celebrate.
I did not know that 1989 was a pivotal year for the MTA.
It was. A C train hit the last stop, went to the showers, and that was that for graffiti in the system.
Wow. Okay. All right. Big year for New York City for positive and unfortunately some negative reasons. But back to the trains. So is this something that we're going to see? Because, of course, we're already hearing that the MTA is proposing another fare hike, et cetera. Is this something that our fare dollars are going to be paying for? Like, what if people are saying, you know, I don't really care. I don't see what the big deal is. Why do I have to keep shelling out more money for something that some of the public might consider frivolous?
And I should point out that some of these people who have been arrested, these vandals, have been forced to pay restitution as part of their punishment. So that's something to keep in mind. But it is not cheap to clean a subway car. That is a cost to the MTA. They obviously want to keep that down, and to have it go up as it did in 2018 from 2 years earlier, it's got to be an alarming figure.
And when you mentioned arrest, do we know roughly how many of these vandals have been arrested, and how many of them have they been able to differentiate from perhaps gang members or artists?
The NYPD didn't lay it out that clearly for me, but there have been several cases, and many of these cases involve people who came from overseas. And one of the old-time graffiti artists told me that it's because the work, which was underground here in New York for so long, when movies and books started coming out about graffiti, it inspired people. It became an international phenomenon. And here we are in 2019 seeing people come over. And one of the MTA officials told me that it's like getting a 10-point buck if you're a hunter to tag a New York City train. And I'm not a hunter, but that sounds like a big prize.
Yeah, no, that does sound like a big prize. And yet so many locals complain not always about the trains. The fact that people see them as a prize is definitely eyebrow raising. So when it comes to the report that at least you were able to do and all the information you were able to get about the cleaning of the trains and the maintaining of them, what was something that at least stood out most to you about the amount of money that the city was, and time and money that was being invested in this?
Well, it's striking. That increase is striking because, as I said, in 1989, the MTA has this anniversary, which has been celebrated as, you know, the last time that cars rolled through the system, trains tagged in graffiti, and now it's an underground thing again. But on social media, it's not, and people take pictures, and it gets out there. And so that's how it came to my attention. And then when I heard those figures, that did jump out at me. That's let's be fair here. It's not the 1970s, it's not the 1980s, but it's not money that the MTA needs to be spending at this point when there are so many other concerns in terms of service.
Certainly not. Well, now that we've got the new Hudson Yards open and that beautiful artistic staircase, so many other things to post on social media would be my point, other than just your tag on a train. So we'll see if this curbs any of the behavior. Jose, thank you so much for joining me on the program.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.